I got to show up for the person that I want my team to be. Being on time is super important for me. I don't tolerate any lateness in my practice, and my team knows that. Showing up with energy every day. And of course, the energy we bring to the practice reflects on everybody else. So
For sure.
energy is everything. And if we don't bring our A game, how do we expect our team to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think like you have to ask yourself before you ask someone else to do something like,
Yeah,
am I demonstrating this myself?
exactly.
Hello, and welcome to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. This podcast is dedicated to chiropractors who are in the seasons of launching and building their practice. Join myself, Dr. Lona, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby, as we have conversations each week as it relates to building the practice of your dreams. And remember, you can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. We're here to lead you on the way. All right, welcome back to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. And I'm here with the beautiful Dr. Carla, who has been around TRP for quite some time at this point. You're one of the OGs.
Definitely.
Awesome. And we are actually down at the immersion, the attraction immersion in Phoenix, and just on a little break. So I grabbed her and said, let's record a podcast. So we're going to be talking
My first podcast.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah.
We're making it a debut here.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, we're going to be talking about the attributes of, first of all, you being an A player and then also attracting A players. So Dr. Carla, just give us a little bit about you and then we'll kind of jump right in.
So like Dr. Lona said, I've been with TRP for a long time before it was even TRP. I was an associate doc with Dr. Franson and Dr. Camilla with my husband, who's also a chiropractor. And then we opened our own practice in 2006. So next year it'll be 20 years of our owning our own business. So
that's awesome. You're going to have a big party?
Yes, I'm actually planning it already. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, that's the plan.
Maybe we'll have to do another podcast on your
20-year. Yes, I know. It's crazy. I can't believe it. So I graduated from chiropractic school 20 years ago in February, and then almost 20 years in practice. So I basically run our practice. I do adjust a little bit, primarily babies and kids, and my husband does the bulk of the adjusting in our associate doc. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And since, when I asked her, like, what should we talk about? You're like A players.
Yeah.
Because to run a big practice and to be able to have a family and not be adjusting all the time, you rely on having A players, which means you have to be an A player leader. So let's start with you first. Like when you look at yourself in the mirror and know like, okay, how do I lead from this point of like showing up as an A player owner or CEO? Or for those of you that are like, it's me, myself, and I, but I'm the A player, right?
Yeah. Well, the obvious things like being on time, showing up, and being a good leader, and not being, my husband always says, like, you can't be emotional. You got to take the emotion out of it. When you're a leader, you got to look at the numbers, at the statistics. And that was hard for me because by personality, I am emotional. I'm a female, I'm an emotional person. So that was tough for me. But over time, I realized like, I got to show up for the person that I want my team to be. Being on time is super important for me. I don't tolerate any lateness in my practice, and my team knows that. Showing up with energy every day. And of course, the energy we bring to the practice reflects on everybody else. So
for sure,
energy is everything. And if we don't bring our A game, how do we expect our team to, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I think like you have to ask yourself before you ask someone else to do something like,
yeah,
am I demonstrating this myself?
Exactly.
Right?
And there's times when you're not, because you're going through something, whether it's, with your kids or, you're not feeling healthy yourself because you've let your, bad habits take over, or you're fighting something, or we had in the last 2 years, my husband's parents both passed away in the last 2 years. So like talk about struggle. And speaking of A players, my husband is like the epitome of A player. He's been through a lot. And he doesn't bring it to work, and he shows up day in and day out, and that energy is reflected on the rest of us. So yeah.
Success leaves clues, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So when you think about, maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking like, okay, you kind of get what you get, meaning like if you look at your practice right now and you're the owner and the leader and you realize, I don't know if I have A players and I don't really know if I'm showing up like an A player. I think sometimes people are like, I don't actually know how to be that leader, right? Like, how does one start to change that? I have some ideas myself, but I'd love to hear.
I think, being a coach being coached by the remarkable practice and having a coach helps.
For sure.
You can't do it alone. And I've been coaching with Dr. Franson privately now for years and in the CEO group. And he's the ultimate leader and his energy is contagious. And I build off of that for sure. So coaching for sure, listening to positive stuff, like podcasts like this on your way to work instead of the radio and the news and all that stuff. So owning your morning, getting up early and meditating, exercising, whatever you have to do to show up your best self. I think every leader, that's super important. So you got to get that right first. And then
and go back to the basics when you've gotten off track as well.
Right. You're like, "Oh, I feel good. I'm, I'm staying up too late. I'm, not eating properly, and that shows. So you have to, get back to the basics and put yourself first, take care of yourself and your health first.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And then also, I think, sometimes as leaders, if we've gotten drained, whether it's from stuff in our personal lives or just the tax of running the business, and we maybe lose that zest for chiropractic, same thing. We can't pour to our team if we're not also super inspired by our vision and our mission. So how do you keep that part of you excited and energized? 20 years in. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still excited 20 years in, which is awesome, but I'm always learning. I'm always reading, listening to chiropractic stuff, positive stuff, attending TRP immersions obviously is a big thing, and bringing my team. You can't leave here this weekend without being fired up and excited. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm at almost 16 years now in practice, and I like listening to Dr. Pete last night, and I'm just like, all right, let's go. Like,
he still fires me up, and I feel like every time he speaks, he gets better, and I still I feel it right here in my heart, and I get emotional too. Like chiropractic makes me excited and emotional. I love it every time.
Well, and to what you said earlier is like it's equal parts, right? You can't be only emotions, and we also can't be all business, all metrics all day, because people need to feel it in their heart. So that's part of growing a player leader, is knowing that there's moments where your team needs you to be really human and to lead with the heart and lead with like the miracles that can happen in the practice, the miracles that chiropractic gifts us with, knowing, even just to know that our body is self-healing and self-regulating is something that the vast majority of people don't honor and maybe have never been told, right?
Yeah.
So if we have reverence for this work and that kind of oozes from us, and then we get the structure and the metrics and all the data in place, now we've got like that secret sauce to make people actually like connect in, grow, work their hardest, and we're truly linking arms to do the mission. Awesome. So when you look for hiring A players, like what are some of the things you take note of?
That's tougher for sure. And to be honest, I've been blessed with an amazing team. My office manager's been with us for almost 17 years, and I haven't had to hire for that position. And our associate doc we found through word of mouth, through Gonstead clubs, and our last two tech CAs were patients who I knew just right away were right and were A players. So to be honest, I'm not good at the traditional hiring, and so
you've attracted them.
Exactly.
And they've stayed.
Yes. And now I'm like, I think I have to hire a position, and I'm scared because I'm like, man, I got to do an Indeed ad and go through this whole process, and it's hard to hire an A player because everyone presents their best self right away, and sometimes it doesn't reflect until later on. But I did hire an awesome associate doc who is an A++ player. And you realize when you have a true A player that the people who aren't A players really show up.
It exposes.
So I don't know if I'm answering your question about the hiring, because I'm like, it's tough. It's a tough part. I don't know if you have any tips, what we can do to make sure we're hiring A players, because I'd actually love some advice from you, to be honest.
But I think it goes back to what we were talking about before, is if we lead with that heart and then the head, right? And we watch when we're interviewing and when we're talking to their references. And I know that if somebody kind of shows me their cards in the interview, I see that when I talk about the mission and the vision we're on, you can feel that they're excited about that, or that they're really curious about what is this place about?
Their energy that they bring.
Right. And for most of our offices, when you walk in there is a different energy to them than, especially if someone, was maybe previously in some sort of medical establishment. So I just kind of watch. I would certainly watch body language. I certainly would check references.
Oh, definitely. And making sure if you're late, for me, that's a game changer. If you take out your phone, that's a game changer too.
So parameters and boundaries
for sure. And then going through an observation, they would go through kind of an observation day, and how to interact with your team, their energy.
Yeah. And you have a training period for a reason, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and with that said, I think that's something I've had to check myself on, because like you, Carla, like I've had amazing people, and sometimes they come in very interesting ways, not from Indeed ads, right?
No, exactly. Yeah.
And I like it when they like sort of like gifted to me
just
by God in the universe.
like,
yeah.
this is supposed to happen for a
Yes.
reason. Yes.
And I know as we keep expanding, we still have to like pray and move our feet, right? We have to go find the people. And sometimes that is putting it out in different channels to find the people as your team keeps expanding. And so I just had to realize that myself as a leader had to grow, knowing that my brain and my expectations and agreements work one way. And some of those are negotiable and some of them aren't. Meaning, I can have A players who show up to work slightly differently than I would maybe show up. And that actually makes us more robust as long as they are truly A players. I'll give you an example. I'm an A player who big picture, right? I'm big picture all the time. If I hire someone who's very detailed, very meticulous, the way they see how things work in the office, we're going to see very, very different things, right? We also are going to probably answer, like if we're doing a quarterly board meeting and I send out some sort of channel for Q&A because I want to know what people think are going well and what's not going well and level of overwhelm and things like that. Like I have just realized that the more I limit myself to just initially labeling people sometimes of like, oh, nope, not a good fit, and I don't explore deeper, there's sometimes where I'm not open to what their skill set would bring our team, as it's more than just me and a couple people. Because I'm hiring people who are definitely different than I am. Whereas in the earlier stages, I would have hired people that I just instantly connected to.
Exactly. Yeah. You need a balance on our teams for sure. Yeah. People who complement each other, yin and yang kind of people. I think that works best. And it's funny, when we were initially hiring, when we opened our practice, we hired 2 part-time CAs. So one would work in the morning, one would work in the afternoon. And I hired the woman who is completely opposite of me, who is super, details and more introverted, more like black and white by the book. And my husband hired the opposite of him, who was more bubbly and upbeat, and like it worked great. And that was awesome.
And it's challenging sometimes, right? It's not like it's like, oh, this is challenging, we're not seeing the same things. But it is great. It's kind of like marriage, right? You end up marrying someone usually very opposite of you.
Exactly. But you work well together. And hence my husband and I own our practice together. We are completely opposite, but we just click. It's awesome.
Okay, I want to ask you one more question. So you said like your OM's been with you for 17 years, which that is amazing. And if you think about how you two have grown, I'm sure in many, many capacities, both in your personal life and in your career lives together, like when you reflect on that relationship and being able to grow together and stay together for that long, like what do you think are some of the nuggets you could help someone else see if they're trying to, like, I would love to have someone that wanted to do decades with me, right?
I know. We're lucky. Well, number one, she's definitely an A player. She's the first one at the office every single day and the last to leave. She has her like pulse on the statistics and the business all day, every day, even when she's at home and she's not supposed to be. And I'm like, you should be doing that. But I know she is. She buys into our core values and she always has, which is number one, and our vision story. So she sees, where we want to go into the future, and she knows what success looks like. And she's now helping us set our goals and pushing the team. And it's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. She's been to some immersions. I want to bring her back. But she's really great. Yeah.
Cool. Any last thoughts?
Well, I was going to talk about training, because if you have true A players on your team, they want to be trained and mentored, and they want to come to these immersions. And they shouldn't think of it like, oh, I got to go to immersion. I've got to work this weekend. Like, I love bringing my team because they get so much out of these weekends. They have so much energy after, they're fired up, and they like training at the office too. They don't, obviously role playing is nerve-wracking for most people, but a true A player wants to role play, wants to train, and wants to get better. So I'm also blessed with a team that loves to train and knows that Tuesday afternoon at 1:00 we train as a team, and this is what we're training on.
And blessed, yes, but also strategic about how you've gotten that.
For sure. Yeah, we just make it part of who we are. Like when we hire, like Monday 11 or 12 p.m. we have our team meeting, team training, 1 p.m. Tuesday, and our team just knows that's part of it.
That's amazing. Yeah. And also to your point, like the training piece, you said 1 p.m. Tuesdays, we're doing it. Like, for those of you listening that it doesn't live every single week for 30 to 60 minutes, whatever you're going to choose, like that would be a nugget from this, is to realize part of having A players and keeping A players is to continue to pour in, and everyone should share in a sense of like, we can always get better. right?
Yeah.
And that's part of being an A player is.
Yeah. Training and developing your team, pouring into them, because when you have people who've been with you for that long, you need to kind of get strategic in your training too, and
Spice it up.
more high level, spice
Yeah.
it up for sure, because
Yeah.
boredom can happen too. And they're like, oh God, we're so good at this. We do this so well. And I'm like, no, but how can we do it even better? So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. And whether it's TRP and we invite you to an immersion, which is always an open invitation.
Yeah, for sure.
And bringing a team with you,
Yeah.
or getting to some of the philosophy seminars out there, or different things that your team is going to get their cup filled for chiropractic is money well spent. So I'm going to echo what she said there about bringing them along for the ride. It's imperative. Yeah.
And it's fun. Like team dinners and all the excitement and meeting new people. And our remarkable women this morning was amazing. Good connection. Yeah.
Yeah. I always think like if we're not having fun, we're doing something wrong. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, what profession is more fun than chiropractic, right?
We have a good time.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So if somebody's like, oh, first of all, if you're in Massachusetts, so if somebody locally is like, oh, I'd love to come shadow, I'm sure that's something that
we love having students come shadow for sure. And docs. We are in Westford, Mass, about 45 minutes from Boston.
Perfect. Yeah. And then if they could find you, you have an email through TRP. What is it?
I do. Dr. Carla at the Remarkable Practice. We're on social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Great.
Yeah. Soon to be on YouTube and soon to be doing
even more.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. This was fun.
Yeah.
Anytime you want me, I'm here.
Okay. And then we'll be second and third podcast.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, please click the links in the show notes to schedule a call.